And then you have Arik Armstead. I wonder, 888-957-9570, 49er fans, are you ready for the offseason? Because I got a DM from a lot of Niner fans, including Izzy Borges yesterday when I posted to Armstead that the Niners may move on from Armstead. I'll read the tweet in just a second. But Izzy was like, please, Bonte, I don't have the capacity for this post right now. And I think a lot of Niner fans are not ready to like embrace the new season. They are still affected by what happened in Las Vegas just a month ago. And now we flip the calendar, and it's a new league year, and moves are happening. And I'm not sure a lot of Niner fans are ready to move on from what happened down in Las Vegas.
I'm ready, shockingly, and this move kind of set me up. Like, boom.
So you weren't ready before?
No, I was not. And this move, because it was... On one level, it was very surprising. On another level, not surprising. One thing that I do want to mention before we get into the actual transaction, the amount of people who cover the Niners who will shame you for suggesting who should go, who could go, who might go, because you don't understand the cap. They do that to you all the time. And like, it really bugs me. First off, anything can happen in the NFL. The money that people move off and re-move around. Right. Can we all admit, none of us know anything about the salary cap?
No doubt. I mean, there are situations where the Saints have been $100 million over the cap and they're signing players.
Like,
and I'm thinking, like, what the hell's going on here?
Like, how are they able to, like, conduct business? Right. All these people who, like, put out these tweets of, like, we know if it's pre-6-1 and post-6-1, how it affects. Dude, we don't know if they're amortizing it, meaning rolling it over multiple years. We don't understand all these things. They were paying D Ford last year, for crying out loud, a little bit of money. Like, so the point that I'm getting at is anything can happen at any time in the NFL. Right. If the Christian McCaffrey trade didn't teach us this, if Javon Hargrave signing with the Niners didn't teach us this, well, then the Arik Armstead move has taught us this. So pay attention. Anything can happen at any time. And if you suggest a player could be cut, moved, whatever, we shouldn't laugh at them. Like, whether it's a caller, whether it's a fan, whether it's somebody opining about the 49ers situation financially, none of us know anything about the salary cap. I don't even know if these teams fully understand the salary cap.
Well, they have capologists, and they understand it, which is why they know how to wiggle in and out of moves and how to roll over money and how to separate the dead cap from the real cap. I don't know. It's a complicated process. It's a very complicated process. However, Jordan Schultz was first to report this. Jordan Schultz has been doing this for a long time, man. A really good dude, a friend of the program here. Where's he at now? Jordan Schultz working for Bleacher Report. He's Bleacher Report's NFL insider. After the 49ers and defensive lineman Arik Armstead attempted but failed to work out a restructured deal, San Francisco now plans to release Arik Armstead. Arik Armstead is now expected to become a free agent as the two sides came close to a deal, but Armstead, as Jordan Schultz reported, wanted to see what his market was. And maybe his market is in a good spot after his postseason. Think about what he did. 6 tackle, 1 sack performance in the Super Bowl. He ranks 4th in playoff sacks among all active players. However, he's going to make a lot of money next season. $28 million, right? Overall. So $17.4 million in base salary. He had the signing bonus of $3.5 million. Got a roster guarantee of over $500,000. But the cap hit is $28.3 million. The dead cap is $26 million. Now, before all this is going to get sorted out, we'll figure out what that actually saves the 49ers. If that saves them any money at all, that's to be determined. But the big point is, Arik Armstead, 31 years old, longest tenured 49er Shasky, is not going to be available for free agency. It's the end of an era for Arik Armstead, and now the 49ers start the process of retooling this defensive line that disappointed everybody. Including down the stretch, including their own damn football team. So Arik Armstead, your thoughts on him, as it looks like number 91 may not be wearing red and gold next season for the 49ers.
I'm going to sound like some complete lunatic here. So bear with me, folks. He is a very good player. But to me, they screwed up in how they paid him. This was a financial transaction. In the same way I view, real estate, like value. It's all about value to me, all right? And when Armstead had his breakout year in 2019, he was a defensive end, primarily in that scheme. They paid him defensive end money. And then they moved him back inside. And then there's this whole DeForest Buckner, Jimmy Ward, Arik Armstead, puzzle that they put together where they said they couldn't afford all three, but if you moved off to Forest, you could attain Arik Armstead, another draft pick, and Jimmy Ward. And honestly, that was sound strategy. All right. They whiffed on Kinlaw.
Right.
And when you paid Arik Armstead via D-end money, you screwed up how you valued him. Like, he is a very good player. He's a B+, A- player. That's the way I view him, okay? But you gave him A money at D-end, which is more expensive than D-tackle.
You gave him game changer money, right?
Exactly. He's never been that guy. Like, he's a run stuffer, right? And so, to me, like, his money and how much he was owed this last year and this year, it's out of whack. I want Arik Armstead on my team, but not at that price tag.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
And like, he was a very good Niner, but the reality is that he really only had like 2.5, 3.5 healthy seasons.
Right.
You know, and
you wonder, and to your point,
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, it's a great point. It's a fair point that you paid him for a DN and you played him D tackle. And you don't get the sack numbers or you don't get the pressure numbers. There's no doubt the 49ers are better with him, but at that price point, I'm with you here. It's pretty expensive, and when you think about 31, is now the time to move off of him because of the injuries last year. Played through the meniscus injury, you had the foot injury. Early on in his career, he had a lot of injuries. That was the talking point about Arik Armstead. He can't stay on the football field,
and we didn't know what position he was.
Right,
and we didn't know what scheme he fit in. Remember, they went through like 2 or 3 different schemes at that time. There are two guys.
They said the wide 9. He fit the wide 9 better than Buckner.
But I would also say, like, to squeeze the most out of Arik Armstead, you had to have a healthy D Ford, because I felt like that entire defensive line has kind of taken a step back without having D Ford. Now, Bosa's his own unique animal, whatever. Reimagining the defensive line is what I would be doing this offseason. The other guy that I'd be, honest to God, I'm 1 year in, I might consider moving off Hargrave. I'm not sure I love paying him $20+ million a year.
I'm hearing rumblings that they just might.
Really?
It just might, because of the production they got from him last year, which was not enough for that price point.
If I was looking at this thing right now as the Niners, like, rolling it back is what you did last year heading into this year. You rolled it back. Hey, healthy Brock Purdy, we feel like we have an opportunity to be good. And you went all the way to the end and you lost. I think you need to reimagine the defensive line. The defensive line, although it played great in the Super Bowl, it underperformed.
Right.
And whether it's the players making too much money, how you spread the money around on your team.
Right.
There are 2 guys in D tackles who I'm paying premier money to: Chris Jones, Aaron Donald.
Yep.
Other than that, to me, what is the difference between getting a 6th-round draft pick or a 5th-round draft pick and swinging on a 2-down defensive lineman late in the draft and finding impact?
I'd have to think about that, because Vita Vea is a guy I like. He makes an impact inside. There's a lot of players, you know, your boy Jalen Carter, Philadelphia, the guy who just retired, Fletcher Cox, is really, really good for a long time. So I'd have to think about that one, because there's a lot of D tackles out there that I would pay.
They have to be a 3-down lineman. Would you agree?
Right, no doubt. I love having a stud D tackle inside wrecks the game. Like having a Chris Jones type of player, Aaron Donald type of player. Now everybody's searching for one of those type of players. Now you're hearing things about Denver, right? The Denver Broncos. They could save $10 million by releasing DJ Jones. Maybe they'll reunite with DJ Jones. DJ
like
Jones
that.
coming back to San Francisco for probably 1/3 of the price that you paid Arik Armstead. You could probably get DJ Jones on the cheap. Now, will they re-sign Javon Hargrave? Not Javon Hargrave, Javon Kinlaw. Will they bring him back into the fold? He had a better year. Now, how much would you have to pay him? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that question. But you need to retool this defensive line. This defensive line was very underwhelming last season.
Agreed.
Now, the Super Bowl, they were a lot better than they got gassed out. I don't know how you do that. Is it a scheme thing? Obviously, it doesn't sound like they're going to change the scheme at all.
Sure doesn't feel like it. But your point about the Super Bowl, and it's the same thing I said about Steve Wilkes. I don't make acquisitions, releases. I don't make roster decisions based off one game. It is the totality and the body of work. And I would just say that the defensive line, underwhelmed. And if you're going to pour 45% of your cap into the defensive line, into basically 4 guys,
right,
you better get more production out of that.
Let's continue to talk about